Hello and happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Alex Hoffman, and I'm with the Equipment Dealers Association. It's my pleasure today to welcome Grace Vest from Team SI. Grace is Team SI's marketing manager, and we've been working with Team SI for a couple of years now to bring you digital marketing webinars and information, and they've done a great job for us, and we're so thankful to have them here again today. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. Grace is going to go through her presentation today, and then we'll take questions at the end. There is a Q&A box on your screen. If you have any questions that come to you during today's presentation, just click that box, type in your question, and we will answer it aloud at the end of the presentation. Second, the recording of today's webinar and a copy of the slides will be emailed to you following the presentation. Feel free to share those with others in your business. You can expect to see an email from me sometime tomorrow with that information. Lastly, just remember that this and other webinars are free services of EDA for our members. If you have questions about EDA or other benefits or want information about membership, just give us a buzz at the office. And that's all I have. So I'm going to hand it over to Grace, and thanks again for joining us.
All right, thank you, Alex. As she said, my name is Grace Vest. I am in Little Rock, Arkansas, so if any of you are dealing with the bad weather storm, I apologize. It's sunny and just cold here, but anyways, I was hired 4 years ago and helped launch our agriculture division and our equipment division. The way Team SI got started was we were in the automotive division, and we saw the same trends going on in the equipment industry. So that led us to kind of innovate and do what we do today with our equipment dealers as far as their websites and marketing. So Team SI is a Google Premier partner. Everything I'm going to tell you today, if it's anything relating to the data I'm going to talk to you about, it will be based on current equipment websites that we've studied or information that Google has provided us about equipment dealers exclusively. So everything I'm going to talk about, there's so many different marketing funnels, and everything is about hitting the right people at the right time with the right frequency. Something I want you to pay attention to and kind of look here. This is from Q3. We should be getting Q4 data soon, but just the only thing I want you to really notice out of this is look how many of these searches are from mobile. So about 60% of all the searches that come in will be on a mobile device. And so anyways, what this is all leading to is before you spend any money on your marketing, whether that be search ads, display ads, video marketing, everything is going to come in to your website. They're going to come to your website first before they even decide to come into your dealership. And that's something we cannot stress enough. You should not waste any of your marketing dollars if you don't have a foundation that is built to convert leads. So just said that, but again, we don't want you to waste your money if you're not sending people to a website that doesn't act like a brochure. Your website should be built on user behaviors, and we'll kind of talk about that here in just a minute. And then something big I want to point out is equipment dealers and just people shopping for equipment are going to visit up to 7.2 different websites, whether it be a different dealership down the street or a different manufacturer. People like to go into Google and just do their research when they're browsing. So again, fun stats, 92% of all searches start in Google. 84% of these will take place on a mobile device. And then if they're watching the commercial you might be doing and they want to look you up, they're going to turn to their mobile device. So here are some of the problems that we are seeing current equipment dealer websites. A lot of times I go to so many different equipment dealer websites every day. You'll kind of, if you scroll down to the bottom of your website, don't do it now, but a lot of times you'll see that it was produced in 2015 or 2016. It what we kind of like to tell when we talk to people is you shouldn't be treated like somebody that you buy a car from and then it's done. You should treat your website like an iPhone. So I'm pretty sure over 90% of you right now are either holding your iPhone, scrolling, looking at something, but your iPhone always stays the same. But think about all the updates that happen within your iPhone at all times. I know I always get a ton of updates that will happen at 2 or 3 in the morning, but it gives you features that adapt. Your website should do the same exact thing, if that makes sense. So let me go through here. When we go through websites, we want you, if your website is not acting like a salesperson, then that's an issue, because as time goes on, your website should not stay outdated. Whoever your provider is, or whoever is doing your website should adapt with the changes in technologies that are just taking place every day. So things really like your website mobile first. How many search sites? So for example, there's multiple websites that I can go to, and I'll go in and search a piece of equipment, but instead of it being on the dealership's website, I get pushed to the manufacturer website. So we want to keep people on your website, and there should be automatic feeds that feed into your website to keep them there. Next, and it's a big thing, is the used equipment integrated into your site. You don't want to be redirected to another site, just like I was talking about with the new equipment just a second ago. I didn't specify. But people expect instant gratification, and that's the main thing. We want to keep everything on your website. You want to have that for SEO purposes, search engine optimization, because you want Google to recognize that you are a reliable source of information. And if you're not, you're going to go down in those search rankings, because remember, over 80% of people are going to go to search. They're not going to type in your dealership's name and go, or that URL, and just go directly to your site. Some will, but in most cases, they're going to go to Google or Bing or a search engine. So I've already said this, but we want to make sure that you are treating your website as an additional location, because that's the first, if you want to think about it, location they are going to see before they decide to call you, fill out a form, or drive to your dealership. And then something else that's really big that I don't think it's paid attention to enough is what is under the hood of your website. What are you having to do and see when you are having to make a new landing page or study your analytics? Is that all provided to you? So you can then make marketing strategy decisions. So something, and I'll talk about a study in just a second, but something big to think about. Do you have 5 photos per piece of used equipment? And then do you have a great detail page? I cannot stress enough, a lot of times I'll go to a used equipment page on someone's website, and they'll have pictures, but then if you look over to the right or below, they will have a couple sentences. After this, if you want to, go to a used car dealer or just go to a automotive website. Look at how extensive their detail pages are, so they can keep people on their website and give them all the information that they need in order to call or convert. And then something else, clear call to action buttons on the homepage. Having I'm not really a fan of sliders. They're great to look at. I'm used to seeing them. But usually when people are searching, you have to remember they're on their mobile phone. They're not going to sit there and wait for your slider to change every few seconds. So you want to be sure to do what people are coming to your site to do. If they are on a mobile phone or just even on desktop, the main reason they want to come to your website is they have a parts and service issue. They want to be able to easily look up the equipment that they are looking for, and then they want to find you and be able to call you in a way that is easy without them having to search through multiple locations if you have more than one dealership. So here's a study that we did with one of our current clients. I'm not going to say the name, but anyways, we did a Hotjar study on how people were searching their used equipment. So you can see that these people, you can see where like the little heat map hurricane looking thing is, but you can see that the people are scrolling to look at the images. And we put those images above the fold, meaning at the top. So we know that's what they want to see and they want to scroll. If you look over to the right, that is the click-through rate, and there was only 29 taps. That's an issue. So they see the images. There might be some description, but it wasn't enough. Automotive has a 2.0 click rate. So we went through and redid their detail page and added other incentives and content to up their click-through rate. And so the main problem was just lack of information. So I know that a few of our dealers, they do internship programs to where they have people just go out and do nothing but take photos of used equipment and add descriptions. So out of that study, we did 10,000 individual recordings with Hotjar, and out of all those recordings, not one person clicked on a listing without a photo. And then out of those 10,000 recordings, no one converted into a lead without having more than 5 photos. So next big thing that we always like to look at is, I kind of like to step out of equipment for a second and put yourself on a different website. Think about when you go to homedepot.com or lowes.com or Target, or my favorite is Amazon. What is the first thing you usually do? You want to see a search bar, but then if you want to get in touch with someone, you want to easily find your nearest location. So back to kind of Home Depot and Lowe's, but for example, like if you look on the left, this is Titan Machinery's website, but there's a way to do this without having the user having to go search. When you come to a website, you can have the option of having the website ask for your nearest location. Once you do that, no matter where you are from then on out, your phone will be able to pick up where you are as far as location. And so then that phone number then changes to match the location that you're closest to. So it eliminates time for the user to get in touch with you. And at the end of the day, that's what we want them to do. So again, here's homedepot.com. But if you look, I hope you can see my mouse, but right here, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. It knows I'm shopping in Little Rock. And then if you notice something else, it's at the very top. It's the search engine bar. That's going to allow people to get exactly what they want in that moment on their mobile device without having to do multiple clicks. The less clicks they have to do, the more likely they're going to convert. So right here where I just went up with the cart, I know a lot of equipment dealers, they don't have e-commerce. Some do with parts and service, and some do even with equipment. But the big thing I want to talk to you about this here is 80% of users will come to your website and then not return for 30 days unless they're an active shopper. So if you know somebody is looking at a piece of equipment, and then whether their son or their wife, they get distracted somehow, they go off the website, but was searching a piece of equipment, they could come back later on. And then if you have that option, like a wish list or a cart in the right-hand corner, that they can come back and go to the piece of equipment they were already looking at. That's going to eliminate the processes of them having to go through and search all over again in your showrooms. And then something else, and I'll talk to you about it in a minute, is I am in market for a new house. And so Home Depot knows, based on my search history, that I'm in market for a new house, so they know I might be interested in appliances. You can personalize that experience for your customer through our website platform, but it would be totally different. So for example, if someone has a search history of looking at small ag, then I should only see small ag right there. I shouldn't see a combine in that picture, but you can create segments that allow people to see what relates to them based on their search behaviors. So again, I've already kind of hit on it with search, but people drop at a very high rate when they don't see search on your site. Something that we've noticed even through some of our websites that we've done in the past, and then a lot of other websites, is equipment dealers don't have the functionality for this to be built. So people drop at a very high rate. And so that's something that we're very keen and very big on, is you should be able to search a website just like you go to Google. Even when you type in, like when you type something in on Google, you know how it does the predictive guesses underneath on what you're looking up, or based on your history, what you've searched before. Same exact concept. So again, this is kind of recap just what I talked about. I'm not going to take a full hour to talk about everything, but you've got to have people find your nearest location. Sometimes people strictly will not call you because it is a pain in the neck for them to find the location that they need. If people come to your website and kind of just see a brochure and they don't have the information, if you don't provide them the information they want about a piece of equipment, they're going to go to your competitor. And people want to do their research. I know when I'm laying in bed at night or whatever it might be, that's the time I'm not going to purchase anything usually, but I'm going to do my research because I have that time to browse and really see what I want. So again, think about Home Depot, think about Target, think about Amazon. That's kind of the way of the world, and the same trends are developing the way equipment dealers are shopping. So this is kind of an example, and this is something that we use. It's kind of all over the board as far as brands and everything. It's for all colors. But again, at the top, I can't stress enough, there's the search bar. That's what people are going to go to besides your location or equipment. When someone types in your piece of equipment, do you show them relevant pages that relate to the piece of equipment that they're looking up? So if there's a certain incentive or special on the piece of equipment, do you easily provide that for them to see? And then again, example of just the saved equipment. If this was me, for example, if I came back a few days later, I can go right back to and see what I had looked up in order to get back into that purchase or search funnel. And then something else that's even bigger that dealer or that consumers like to do is to compare and contrast. So I know comparing new equipment to used equipment really isn't fair because of hours, year, everything, but especially with used equipment, people love to compare your used equipment. So we have a page that we dedicate to that people can click on the saved equipment, but then put them on a page to where they can compare and contrast price, hours, etc. And then something else, especially on a mobile device, a lot of times it is so hard to filter everything to find exactly what I want. So you want to make sure, whether it's new equipment, used equipment, they can easily go through and categorize what they're looking for so they can find it in the fewest clicks possible. So, and again, if you look over to the left side, just to talk about the filters, you want to make sure that everything is categorized in a way that they will not confuse the consumer. So now I'll kind of shift over and talk about personalization. Whether or not you think you expect it, I mean, it just happens now. And a lot of equipment websites don't do that. That's okay, but it's just where the whole world's going to. So I've kind of talked about it earlier, but we like when we get our equipment dealers, we like to kind of set personas and make audience segments on their audience specifically. So whether it be large or small, so when someone comes into a website, their homepage will push out either large ag or the homepage will push out small ag. So again, we just want to make sure when the person comes to a website, they will easily be able to see the type of equipment that they want, because we know that the search patterns are telling us what they want. So for example, if I am looking at a zero-turn mower, I should not see a large tractor, tiller, or combine when I come to the homepage, because that's just not going to interest me. I'm not going to buy that. But if I came to a website and see that zero-turn mower or attachment I need for a 1023E, I'm going to know that they, care about my journey, and that's going to lead me to call them faster or fill out a form. So again, why is this all important? Because your website should do nothing but convert leads. It is the first thing they're going to see before they call you or come to your dealership. So I cannot stress enough how important your website should be. And so again, we have a platform called Element, and it kind of goes over, and we've studied multiple equipment dealer websites to make and do what we have done with our new platform. So if any of you just want to talk to me, I love talking about this kind of stuff. Feel free to reach out to me. And honestly, that's all I really have. If we have any questions.
Thank you, Grace. Lots of good information. We don't have any questions yet. We did have a concern about volume. Somebody said that they were having trouble hearing you. So if that was the case for you or anybody else on the call, the recording should be pretty clear, because on my end I could hear Grace fine, so it should be clear. And then again, we'll send that to you following the presentation. You can expect that tomorrow. Give it a couple more minutes for maybe anybody to ask any questions. Grace, I'll ask you a question maybe that might help some people listening while we're waiting. If you gave a lot of good advice, the search bar and the number of pictures in a posting are two things that stuck out to me. But if you were to give people one piece of advice, like what's the best place to start? What's the first thing, the most effective thing they could do?
So my first thing would be go look at yourself on a mobile device. If you have multiple stores, or if you just have one store, how easy is it for someone to call you? So a lot of times, a lot of dealers will have their locations and things, but there's not just a click to call. And then another thing that we're pushing away from is having those drop downs. So instead of having to go into the menu, push locations, and it gives a drop down of different locations. Sometimes people just don't know what town that might be, or they won't know if it's close to them or not. So be sure you have a number that is on every single page on a mobile device, so all they have to do is click the call.
Perfect. Okay, well, we don't have any other questions, so oh wait, I just got one. How do I make sure people can find me in a geographic area?
So I guess Are you referring more to like search engine optimization, like when someone types in a piece of equipment that's related to you? Is that what you're referring to, or are you referring to more of like the phone?
Um, I'm going to give this person an opportunity to answer that. Type it in if you mean, do you mean when someone searches for equipment, are you going to pop up if they're searching in your area? Is that what?
If that's the case, then that kind of
Let's answer that and see if he or she corrects us.
Okay. So when someone goes into a search engine and they type in, I mean, orange tractor, you'd be surprised how many times people sign in orange tractor or green tractor or blue tractor. Anyways, there's a way to set that up through your search engine optimization and then in the headers and the meta tags in your website. But when Google sees that you are a reliable source because on your website you are providing relevant keywords and information about a used equipment, Google will see you as the reliable source, and it will be something that naturally just happens. But I mean, if you're doing search engine marketing, that's where you pop up at the very top. And that's something that's paid for. But I'm talking about the organic searches that you're not paying for just when you type something in on Google. So that's a whole another topic, but that's something you can do by providing relevant content. Google will naturally pick that up. Okay. Is it effective to make different landing pages? Yes, it is very effective to make different landing pages. So depending on what your campaign is that you're doing through marketing strategies, you want to send people in, like if you're doing a search campaign or a display campaign, if you send them just to your homepage, it's not going to be about the ad you're promoting unless you're only promoting the homepage about something. If you are wanting to do something on a certain piece of equipment, you want to send them directly to a landing page that's going to talk about that piece of equipment. And you want to put as much information on there that is going to make the consumer convert or fill out a form or call you. And that's all trackable and should be trackable in the back end of your current website. I hope that helps.
Did you see that one, Grace? What are your thoughts on chatbots for sites, gimmicky or effective?
If I have to be honest, I put myself outside of the equipment world. I don't like them because sometimes it's not a real person. And at the end of the day, whether people say they don't want to talk to someone on the phone, when it's a big purchase, if it's something about a big purchase, you want to talk to a human. So I don't think they work well. There's some people that would probably say different, but I don't think it's something that you should have to waste your money on. No problem.
Okay. I think that's all of them. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Grace, thank you so much. Again, we'll get you guys copies of these slides and the recording tomorrow. And if you have any questions, feel free to follow up with Grace.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.